You gotta call me an MCU the way my cock's in you. You know what I mean? And it's like, we really gotta think about this. This is a big deal. Because in one hand, this already confirms we're gonna have multiple more movies. It's not a trilogy, but this seems to be something bigger, crazier, and better. All right? Okay? And what I'm wondering, though, is what does it mean? Who, when, what, where? Right? And I just wonder, I know a lot of people have that fear that there's gonna be too many, it's gonna be an MCU situation, yada, yada, yada. I feel like it's a little different here because Sonic is one universe, right? It's not really a crossover franchise, right? I feel like Sonic is one universe, so having multiple movies within it, I think is fine. I guess the difference is with Marvel, it's that in MCU, they gave a lot of characters solo things, right? And introduced them as one thing together. Whereas I feel like Sonic is a much more one cohesive thing. It's different. It's not different IPs. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like, the universe and characters and everything are much more disconnected. Whereas in Sonic, all the characters are within Sonic-like characters, and they're not as convoluted. We're like, when we play Sonic games, it's not like we're like, oh, here's universe XYZ, there's this version, there's this thing that gathers them together. It's like, oftentimes these guys are together, right? The issue of MCU wasn't too much content, so a dip of quality with stories not too much linear. Exactly. That's a big factor too, is it's about the quality and everything. They should do more seasonal shows like Knuckles in between. I agree with that. I agree. I think more stuff like the Knuckles show, because obviously Shadow is not it. Movie 3 is not like the end of everything. And my question then becomes, for example, for Shadow, is Shadow the type of character to get a movie, or is he the type to get a TV show? I think Shadow could own a movie for sure. I feel like Shadow could definitely be on top to own his own movie, but they'd most likely do a show maybe to save some money, but I don't know. I could see both. I thought 3 was going to be the end, but after seeing this problem, yeah, it doesn't seem like the end. Also, it never made sense for movie 3 to be the end. When we were getting the marketing for movie 2, or when movie 2 ended, they were saying, we've created a universe here, we're excited for the Sonic universe we've created, and it wouldn't make sense for everything to stop after Knuckles and movie 3. It would not make sense at all. So I think if they're saying like, but then the question becomes, right, if they're saying Avengers levels events, big exciting stories, what are we thinking, right? Because with Sonic there's a lot, right? Obviously we have a few options, right? There's Off of Earth, which could be a movie that's set in Green Hills and the Sonic zones and everything. Sonic 06, you're right, cohesively would make a sick movie. I think if we're talking about a game story that could work as a film, I think 06 could be really perfect. Obviously you get the weird romance out of it, but the idea of, I don't know, but the problem then becomes like, what do you do, because there aren't really kingdoms and stuff in the real life world because they're on Earth. So I don't know what they would do with that essential storyline of like this royal family and having a character from there, the UK. I mean, yeah, I guess the UK and Britain exist, but that's not the same thing. These movies are still set in reality. And so what do you do? Because I'm trying to think. I guess another one would be Heroes. Heroes would be a big one where you get a lot of the cast to fight, you know, Neo, Metal Sonic, and they're working together against Eggman. That would be a really good one. And then obviously you have Silver. We don't know what's even happening with Metal Sonic yet. You have to remember, when we finished Sonic movie 1, all we really knew about Sonic movie 2 was that Tails was gonna be in it. That's all we knew. We didn't even know Knuckles was a part of it until what, 5 months before, when they did the Idris Elba teaser. We don't know. And Metal Sonic could be in movie 3 for all we know. I have no idea. You know, Metal Sonic could be plotted at the end of the Knuckles show. It's something that we don't we really don't know anything. We still don't know if there's gonna be another one of the girl hedgehogs in there. Are we gonna get Amy in there? Or also are we gonna get Rouge the Bat in there? I'm just wondering, with Jim Carrey retiring, who will become the main villain? I'm predicting Agent Stone, but it says people did not like my opinion on that. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think Agent Stone being built up as Eggman's successor if he's gone or sent to another universe or something, I think could work 100%. I think could really work. I'm really thinking Chaos might replace BioLizard. Yeah, because I'm trying to think. I feel like Chaos is a big one, right? Giant water monster, and you take care of that storyline. But the problem is, I don't know how you need to do BioLizard in some way, because that's supposed to be what Shadow is going to be. So I don't think you can replace BioLizard with Chaos, because BioLizard is meant to be like a moment for Shadow to be like, oh god, this is what I was supposed to be, right? I think Agent Stone is going to be like Frieza and Super Broly, starting the issue by awakening a new villain while not being the big bad. Yeah, I could see something like that. Obviously, we know there's like the portals to other dimensions, and I 100% see Silver being an easy lock as another main character alongside Sonic. I think they will not do a Sonic Unleashed movie. I don't think so either. Sonic has always been a solo franchise, so what concerns me is how they'd attempt to expand the storylines, focus on tertiary casts, especially after the heavy hitters like Shadow or Silver, and how much they tie into the main arc. It's really a matter of execution to me, especially as we might be entering a post-Eggman era per se. I think storyline focus on Black Arms is the next step, with Black Doom as the big bad. Yeah, I agree with that also, Wavy. Thank you. It also makes sense on a movie standpoint, right? That Eggman wouldn't last anyways, because Sonic as a game franchise is much more not contained, but is much more silly in a sense that Eggman has been roaming free for like 50 games, whereas I feel like in the movie universe, I don't think they're gonna allow Eggman to always have some kind of plot, always come back, always do this. I think for the sake of logic and plot and story, Eggman at some point has to be defeated, and that's how we get stuff like Black Arms, how we get emphasis on Agent Stone, how we get emphasis on different characters and villains. Also, I feel like they could do Babylon Rogues from Riders and their connection with Longclaw. That's a good one too. What would they do for Sonic Frontiers adaptation? Add Tommy and Matt to the story, change the dialogue? Oof. I don't know. I'm really trying to think, to be fair, the producers tried to say that movies will focus on Avengers type events in the series, like Knuckles will focus on more character exploration. Yeah, no, exactly. I think the character shows should be, I think most of the character shows should be individual stories. Obviously, they can have another character if it makes sense. Do you think they'll kill off Donut Lord in the future of the universe? I would love that. Not in a sense of like, I don't like him, but I think having a moment like that for Sonic and the characters would be, because Donut Lord is a character that you can afford to kill off and have it be impactful. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously I like the Donut Lord, right? But I'm just saying, right, he's a character that like is not essential to the Sonic storyline, and them building up Sonic and him as his father figure and everything, if they somehow killed them off for a story's sake, it would be crazy. You know, it would be unbelievable. I think it would be sick for the story, depending on how dark they want to go. I feel like the events of SA1, like the fight with Perfect Chaos, will be the beginning of movie 3 as a way for Sonic and the others to be more accepted in the human world outside of Green Hills. Oof. I don't think Perfect Chaos will be the beginning of movie 3. I mean, maybe they can make more of a joke out of it. Because I don't think the movie universe has yet to experience villain of the week type, because I feel like if movie 3 started with Perfect Chaos, it would feel like, all right, we're getting rid of villain of the week. Whereas Chaos is something that needs to be built up through an entire series because of the different forms, collecting the Chaos Emeralds, right? It's a big deal. And the Supersonic, honestly, I think we should have 40 minutes of fighting robots Sonic saying Tails, this isn't you. That one as well. What if there's no secret villain and just have Supersonic versus Super Shadow be the final fight of movie 3 if they don't want it to be similar to Knuckles in movie 2. I mean, they could do that. I think movie 3 could end with a Super Sonic and Super Shadow fight, and it would be raw as hell. I don't understand the stigma against Sonic movie having a shared universe. I don't mind milking universe of the milking and spoiled. Yeah, no, we're talking about that. It's like, I think as long as the movies are good, you could have a universe. I don't think there's an issue with having a universe as long as it's good. And like I said, the difference with Sonic is it's one universe that has a similar tone throughout. Where something like Avengers, why people don't like that it's a universe is because one tone has to be very much shifted to share the tone of everything else. You know what I mean? Like something like Civil War, right, is not the same tone as a Spidey film. It's not the same tone as something, you know, like the Marvels. It's not the same tone as something like this, that, or that. And I think the different tones are lost because all of them have to be like Guardians, where it's quippy, quip, as opposed to some MCU stories that are genuinely just dark and difficult to watch. I mean, it doesn't, but Disney made it so. Yeah, no, exactly. Disney made it that way. Of course, the stories within that universe do that well. I also think the opening movie 3 will either be the moment where Maria and Shadow are running away from gun soldiers and fighting Eggman. Yeah, it's either going to be that or City Escape, one or the other. I mean, Splatoon 1 closing 50 minutes, yeah. But I don't know. This is, to me, this is exciting. I think as fans, for discussion and new characters and hype and everything, I'm trying to think, what would movie 3 end with? Movie 3 is going to end... My guess is it has to be something notable. And I think it's either going to be Metal Sonic or Silver. I could really see Silver be there. A Silver would be cool because then we could have the... I don't know, could you imagine the post-credit scenes? You're just seeing a destroyed city. And that way, if you're a fan, you already know. Right? Like, if you see like a destroyed, burnt city, if you're a fan, you're like... Oh my god, they're doing it. They're doing Silver. But if you don't know, you're sitting there until the build-up, and then you'll just see like, my world has been destroyed. And you hear about the Iblis figure or something, and then he's like, I have to go there, and he sees a figure of Sonic. It would be awesome. Like, that would be so cool. I would love that so much. It'd be Hyper Silver, Metal, or Cast. Yeah, because the difference with Sonic is I think there are really a few more reaction-worthy characters for post-credits, right? It would be Silver, it would be Blaze, it would be Metal Sonic. Who else would be like a big post-credit scene for a Sonic movie? I feel like, you know, the Chaotix would be more of a comedy one, right? Chaos, for sure. Big would be a funny, like if they want to go for a funny one, yeah. Infinite, no. It's not gonna have for Infinite. But it's just, this movie universe is meant to be a little bit mature for sure, but it's obviously meant to still be fun. But I would love if they leaned into something like having a short series where it's a Sonic Riders spin-off. I would love to see stuff like that, because I don't think they'll do stuff, as much as I'd like it, I don't think they're gonna do stuff like adapting the storybook series like Black Knight, Secrets. I think that is way too leaned on the silly for it to work in the universe they're building. I think they're gonna keep it to the core stories that they think make sense. So it's gonna be stuff like Heroes, it's gonna be stuff like the adventure storylines, maybe Dark Gaia. I don't think they necessarily have to adapt Unleashed, but Dark Gaia as a plot line would be very world MD and ending like, I'm trying to think, because then it doesn't get that dark. I mean, obviously if Forces was good, that would be a war storyline. That would be really good. And then we have Frontiers, which is a much more isolated story, but it would be raw to see Super Sonic 2 on the big screen. Do you think they could do a Sonic 06 story without Elise, where Sonic tells Knuckles to focus on trying to figure out what's causing the Iblis to destroy the world? Yeah, again, it doesn't even make sense to... It doesn't even make sense to have Elise in that world, because it's not a world with princesses and stuff. I also think I would love if, again, at the end of movie 3, they left Earth and they went to their planet, and then the next movie, because it has such a high, bigger budget, that they can do shit on planet Earth, on Sonic's planet Mobius, or explore more zones, because we haven't really explored Sonic zones in this universe. There's references to them like Ice Cap, right? But like we have yet to go to places like a Stardust Speedway or a Metallic Madness or something like as wild as a Lost World or the, you know, the Starfall Islands or something, right? Would they take the risk and use IDW characters? No, I don't think so. Now, granted, movie universes have often taken from comics, so it's not impossible. I think that would be a much later thing. Well, like I said, it really depends. What is the plan they have for this universe? Is it going to be, are we like long hauling this? Do they have a 10-year plan, or is it we have a few things planned and that's it? I don't know. It's a crazy thing to think about, but I'm very, very excited to think about what they're gonna do. Planet Wisp later on. Yeah, I think the Wisp storyline to me comes off more TV show, right? Or 2-episode short. You know, Space Amusement Park. But again, my question is still, I don't think you can cartoonify Eggman the same way in the movies as you do in the games. Because Eggman living in the games is already a difficult aspect. But in an MCU like this, I feel like it would be so... You become silly if every movie is Eggman. Right? It becomes like, dude, someone's got to get rid of this guy. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But either way, I'm very excited that they've got plans, and we will see what happens in the future.